Hola, buen dia. My name is Randall Garrett. I grew up in a small town in the American South, in the Ozark Mountains of Arkansas. Most of my adult life has been lived in Texas and now Mexico. I grew up in a time of great societal change, as the civil rights era was just gaining momentum and society was integrating, bringing with it this experience of overlapping and diverse cultures, something which was formative in opening me to a variety of perspectives early in life. I lived in an environment where people worked hard, but also one where I had space to explore my imagination and connection to nature, things which still inform me to this day. My mom got me into classes at the local art center when I was maybe 5 or 6 years old, so I've been making art as long as I can remember. This environment I grew up in set the stage for reflecting on everyday life, how it gives us everything we need to create, to find ourselves and our place in this world. My visual and cultural influences were pop culture, things like rock music, comic books, and as I grew older, the garish colors and spectacle of religious art and eroticism. I connected to spirituality early on and learned to explore my inner world, first within the context of the fundamentalist Christianity of my youth, and as I grew older, toward meditation, yoga, and Buddhist philosophy. I've always been interested in how we represent ourselves as humans, and how ordinary life gives insight as to who we are and where we are going. So naturally, as I got into art school, artists like Robert Rauschenberg, who worked with the stuff of everyday life in this really prolific way, inspired and showed me that the stuff of art is right here, all around me. Katie Noland and her way of displaying cultural signifiers within the context of contemporary abstraction is another influence. And the Baroque Italian artist Caravaggio, who brought a new and dramatic way of looking at ordinary life, people, and situations is there as well. Right now, I'm focused on a deeper understanding of how art is really just an extension of life itself. How art helps me to focus my attention on what's happening all around me, a kind of mindfulness or presence. I look at myself and see that I have these experiences with people, places, and things. I reflect on them and I make art about them. The more I can collapse that process into something contiguous, the more growth and connection I create. And hopefully others will see my work and connect more deeply to their own unique lives and journeys as well. My biggest challenge as an artist is to remember that not everyone thinks or lives in the realm of the imagination on a daily basis, so I can choose to inhabit that space, con gusto. But I need to remember that people generally think in practical ways about their lives, and that's good too. So I can't just be continually lost in this wellspring of creation, but I have to integrate it into an ordinary life, a life of getting food, of eating, drinking, of washing dishes and clothes, of self-care, and to remember that, yes, being an artist is somewhat of a solitary pursuit, but I also need company and friends and love too in my life, to be connected with others. When I look back at my younger self, I see that, yeah, this young dude had the right idea, that life was all about having these experiences, about reflection and creation. It's okay and actually healthy to integrate your creativity into the other aspects of life, into having relationships and family and work, that there doesn't have to be these binaries where things seem to be separate or oppositional, and that, yeah, you've done a pretty good job of integrating those disparate parts of yourself, the parts that create, the parts that relate to others. But you don't have to feel any shame at being an artist or at the commitment it takes to bring that aspect of yourself into the world. Art is not something separate from life. It's really an integral part of who you are and what you do. Experimentation and improvisation have been a feature of my work all the way going back to art school. I think it was partly my curiosity and an attempt to keep things fresh in the studio. In the years since, I've settled into a relative groove, one that fluctuates between mixed media collage and assemblage sculpture, ritual performance, video, and sound-based art. Even within these constraints, I still give myself permission to fail. In fact, I feel compelled to push myself to try techniques over which I have less control and more opportunities for failure. Things like spray paint, sgraffito, and using materials that don't easily go together. In 1997, I mounted a solo show titled History at the downtown Dallas Library. It consisted of small mixed media paintings, technologically manipulated, what we now call glitch. Images that mixed childhood portraits of myself with patriotic imagery run through fax machines to distort and abstract them. I also presented some sculptural works, tricycles and toy wagons, which had been taken apart and reassembled in kind of fucked up ways. A guy walked into the reception and pretty quickly became agitated upon seeing my work. He strode up to me and, becoming irate, threw his arms in the air and yelled, "All of this is what Warhol caused," gesturing at my work and pontificating on how art could now be made from any material, how the most base and vulgar of themes were now elevated. While thinking I may have to physically defend myself or protect my work from his anger, I also enjoyed seeing how someone could get so worked up by art that it meant enough to them that they became emotionally involved. One takeaway from my work is that I think it gives people the opportunity to reflect on their own lives and everyday experience, how you can find meaning by taking the time just to be present with what's happening right in front of you, how our basic actions, things like chore work, can lead us to a deeper experience of life itself. To me, that's the greater purpose of art, to connect us more deeply to ourselves, to one another, and to life all around us. Currently, I have a solo show on view in Oaxaca, Mexico, titled Tianguistopia. It is a look at the tianguis, or outdoor markets here in Mexico, and how these environments can reflect us back to ourselves, kind of like a mirror. Over the next year, I have 3 more solo shows scheduled back in Texas. I regularly post about my art and life on social media using the handle The Randall Garrett. So you can look me up on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube using that search term, or visit my website, randallgarrett.com, where I promote my creative coaching work. Thanks for the opportunity to share with you about my work today. Muchas gracias y espero que tengas un buen día.